You don't have to be Jewish to love levees. Or, we try harder.
Right. Those lines, they just stuck, didn't they?
Exactly. They're not just slogans, they became part of the language. Real cultural touchstones. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Where we unpack compelling sources.
To help you, our listener, become the most well-informed person in the room.
Definitely.
Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, the mind and the work of Bill Bernbach.
The legend, Doyle Dane Bernbach, DDB.
Yeah, the agency he co-founded, they didn't just, sell stuff. They completely changed how brands talk to people.
Utterly revolutionized it.
So you're about to find out how this one guy's philosophy really shifted everything, and honestly, why his ideas still feel so relevant.
Absolutely. Our mission today is really to get into his core principles, see how they showed up in those unforgettable campaigns.
Right, and grasped his bigger picture view on communication. It wasn't just selling sofas or rye bread.
No, it was deeper, almost shaping society in subtle ways.
So get ready for some, maybe, surprising insights, a peek behind the curtain of ads you probably remember.
Should be fascinating.
Okay, let's unpack him. Bernbach. Born Jacob Bernbach. He had a pretty unconventional start, didn't he?
He really did. His father was a clothing designer, described as austere but elegant. Bill, or Jacob then, graduated NYU in '32.
Right in the thick of the Depression.
Exactly. He saw it, but wasn't directly harmed by it, thankfully. And his first job, office boy.
An office boy, where?
In the mailroom at Shenley Distillers. It's one of those classic stories, isn't it? Talent finding a way.
It really is. So how do you get from the mailroom to, well, changing the entire advertising world?
Well, even then, you see the spark. While he was in that mailroom, he actually wrote an ad for one of their whiskeys, Shenley's American Cream Whiskey.
Just wrote it as the office boy.
Yep. And somehow, maybe a bit audaciously, got it seen by the ad department. And they published it.
No way.
Yeah. That got him moved into advertising there. So that drive, plus later experiences like ghostwriting for the 39 World's Fair, working with Paul Rand, the graphic designer.
Paul Rand, huge influence.
Huge. It all started shaping his very unique view on how words and visuals needed to work together, the importance of aesthetics.
So that spark was definitely there early on. But then comes 1947. He's at Gray Advertising, and he writes this letter. It sounds pretty incendiary.
Oh, it was. It was a bombshell, really.
Yeah.
He wrote it to the owners, outlining his deep concerns about where advertising was heading.
What was bothering him so much? What was he seeing?
He saw the industry falling into traps. He called it the trap of bigness, worshiping techniques instead of substance.
Following formulas, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Following history instead of making it, he said. And that great phrase, a hardening of the creative arteries. Just stifling creativity.
Wow. Hardening of the creative arteries. That paints a picture.
Doesn't it? And he famously declared this is the core of it. I don't want academicians. I don't want scientists. I don't want people who do the right things. I want people who do inspiring things.
Inspiring things, not just correct things.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He truly believed that good taste, good art, good writing can be good selling. That was radical then. The industry was leaning towards, dry data.
So he wasn't just complaining. He was calling for a revolution towards art, towards inspiration.
Absolutely. And it wasn't long after that, June 1st, 1949, his vision takes form. Doyle Dane Bernbach is founded.
With Ned Doyle.
The account guy.
And Maxwell Dane.
The business brain.
And Bernbach, the creative heart. There was that great quote about their partnership, too.
Oh, yeah. He said, nothing will ever get between us. Not even punctuation.
Huh. I love that. It says a lot about the trust, the shared vision they must have had.
It really does. That foundation was key.
Okay, so DDB is up and running, built on this, well, radical idea. How did they start putting it into practice? Let's talk about Orbach, their first client.
Right. And Mr. Orbach apparently paid them in advance. Quite a vote of confidence.
So what was the deal with Orbach? What needed fixing?
Well, Orbach had this image problem. It was seen as kind of unfashionable. A budget store.
Okay.
Bernbach and his team saw the chance to inject personality, to redefine it.
Yeah.
And the brilliance was in the wit. They didn't just announce sales, they told little stories.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, so there was one ad I found out about Joan. It was like reading gossip about some socialite who secretly shopped at Orbach for her great clothes.
Clever, making it aspirational but accessible.
Exactly. Or another one from a dog's perspective, complaining, I tell you, I'm fed up. Because its owner was always at Orbach.
Huh. That's memorable.
Totally. They built this distinct voice. Funny, smart, and it worked. Suddenly, you've got Rockefeller shopping there, Life magazine covering it. They flipped the image to high fashion at low prices.
They weren't selling dresses, they were selling an attitude and identity.
Precisely. That unique personality.
That's powerful. Okay, but what about a tougher case? A client really struggling, tiny budget. Levy's Bakery comes to mind.
Yeah, Levy's was nearly bankrupt. They had something like a $50,000 budget, which even then was minuscule for New York.
So what was the approach there?
Well, initially they did ads focusing on quality, like, are you buying a bed or a bread?
Yeah.
Emphasizing the substance of the rye.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Product focused.
But the real breakthrough, the Bernbach magic, came from rejecting conventional wisdom. The media director suggested targeting only Jewish readers, based on newspaper demographics like the New York Post.
Which sounds logical on the surface.
Right, obvious targeting. But Bernbach pushed back. He saw a bigger opportunity.
What did he propose instead?
He said, let's advertise in the World Telegram, which had a low Jewish readership. And crucially, let's change the name, make it more specific. Levy's Real Jewish Rye.
Even though the owner was worried about anti-Semitism.
Exactly. It was a risk. But Bernbach believed in finding a universal truth within that specificity. And out of that came the line.
You don't have to be Jewish to love Levy's Real Jewish Rye.
Bingo. It became part of the language. It showed how embracing your specific identity, really owning it, could paradoxically give it universal appeal.
That's a huge insight. Authenticity creates broader connection. Okay, let's shift gears to maybe their most famous work, the campaign everyone copied, Volkswagen.
Ah, the Beetle. Iconic.
Bernbach had that mantra for it. The product, stay with the product. What did that look like for a car that, well, wasn't exactly a Corvette?
It meant total honesty, embracing what the car was, warts and all, and celebrating its actual strengths. Bernbach saw it clearly. Honest, simple, reliable, sensible, different.
So the ads had to reflect that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The advertising became the embodiment of those values. Think small. That wasn't just about fuel economy. It was a statement, challenging American excess almost.
It really was. And Lemon, tell us about Lemon. That one's legendary for its honesty.
Lemon was brilliant. It showed a picture of a Beetle with the headline, Lemon. And the copy explained that this particular car was rejected by Inspector Kurt Kroner because of a tiny scratch. 1 out of 50 cars got rejected.
So they admitted they sometimes made flawed cars.
Yes, but framed it as proof of their incredibly high standards. It built massive trust through transparency, or this we changed, this we don't, highlighting constant mechanical upgrades but keeping the look, reinforcing reliability and practicality over fashion.
And the humor, too, right? It was the only thing to do after the mule died.
Huh. Yeah, that relatable, down-to-earth humor, it connected. Bernbach knew, as he put it, the truth isn't the truth until people believe you, and you won't be interesting unless you say things freshly, originally, imaginatively. VW proved that.
Honesty and imagination, such a powerful mix. But okay, VW is unique. What about Avis? They came to DDB explicitly as number 2 in rental cars. How do you advertise that?
That's another masterclass in positioning. Bob Callinson, Avis's president, basically threw down the gauntlet. We're number 2. What do you do with that?
Most agencies would try to make them look like number 1, right?
Probably. But Bernbach leaned into the reality. He saw the advantage in being the underdog. That's where "we try harder" came from.
Ah, of course.
The ads then used that position to promise better service. Lines like, "We just can't afford dirty ashtrays," or "half-empty gas tanks," or "worn wipers." It implied the number 1 guy could get complacent, but Avis couldn't.
It's so clever because it turns the weakness into the reason you should choose them.
Exactly. It gave them a powerful, distinct personality.
But I heard the initial research wasn't all positive. Some people didn't like the ads.
That's true. Research apparently showed about half the people disliked the campaign. And Bernbach's reaction. Classic Bernbach.
What did he say?
He reportedly said, but half the people did. And that's the half we want.
Wow. So don't try to please everyone. Find your tribe.
Precisely. It's about resonating deeply with the right audience, not getting a lukewarm reaction from everybody. Powerful conviction.
It really is. Okay, let's talk about a campaign that felt different. Mobil Oil, 1965, their 100th anniversary. Bernbach's reaction to their initial idea was pretty blunt.
It was. Mobil's chairman showed him their simple 1865 poster idea, and Bernbach apparently just said, "I think it means you died."
Huh. Brutal honesty again. So what did DDB propose instead?
Something completely unexpected, the "We Want You to Live" campaign. And the key thing here, it wasn't about Mobil at all. It was pure public service. The horrors of dangerous driving, just stark, impactful messages. Things like fresh killed chicken, talking about the deadly game of chicken kids played in cars.
Gosh, that's
It
intense.
was. Or lines like, if you drive at 60 miles an hour and hit something, it's exactly the same as driving off a 10-story building, and it will get you to exactly the same place, the morgue.
Wow, no selling, no branding, really.
None. Purely focused on saving lives.
How do people react, especially coming from an oil company?
The reaction was overwhelming. Tens of thousands of letters poured in, thanking Mobil. And as a result, Mobil gave DDB their entire gasoline and oil account.
So doing good was good business in that case.
It proved that advertising could build enormous goodwill and trust by addressing real human concerns, going way beyond just the product. It expanded the idea of what advertising could even be.
That's incredible. It really elevates the whole thing. Now, Bernbach also talked about execution being critical. Execution becomes content in a work of genius, I think he said. Is there a campaign that really shows that, where the way it was done was everything?
Oh, definitely. You have to talk about Mikey for Life cereal.
Ah, Mikey, he likes it.
That's the one. The amazing part is that commercial tested terribly. Dismal scores, apparently.
Really? But it's so iconic.
Exactly. They aired it almost reluctantly. And boom, Mikey becomes a national sensation. The line enters the language. Sales go through the roof.
So it completely defied the pre-testing the data.
Completely. Which perfectly illustrates Bernbach's point about execution and his skepticism about research predicting success. He felt logic and overanalysis can immobilize and sterilize an idea.
He said something about measuring public opinion versus molding it.
Yeah. We are so busy measuring public opinion that we forget we can mold it. Mikey showed that creative execution, that emotional spark, can connect in ways data just can't capture.
And Polaroid was another example of execution, wasn't it? Focusing on live TV.
Right. Dr. Edwin Land, Polaroid's inventor, felt earlier ads were cluttered, didn't match the camera's price or innovation. DDB shifted to showing big, beautiful pictures using live TV moments.
That sounds risky, live TV. What if it went wrong?
It did, but that became part of the magic. If a picture failed on air with, say, Johnny Carson, he'd just take another and say something like, see, you know instantly whether or not you've got the shot, turning a potential flaw into a demonstration of the core benefit, instant results.
Genius. Just leaning into the reality again.
Always back to that human truth, that insight.
Which brings us to Clairol. How did DDB tackle something as personal as hair color or hairspray?
Again, finding the human insight was key. For nice, easy hair color, competitors were talking about looking natural. DDB realized women didn't just want natural, they wanted to feel like themselves.
Ah, subtle but important difference.
Huge difference. That led to the "It Lets Me Be Me" campaign. And like Mikey, it tested poorly, but resonated deeply with women, leading to market leadership. It tapped into that desire for authenticity.
And finally, that hairspray. They had some funny ads for that.
They did. Competitors were doing these extreme tests, wind tunnels, helmets, whatever, to show holding power. DDB went humorous and relatable. They showed women falling asleep, hair still perfect. The tagline was brilliant. She conked out, but her hair held up. Final net lasts longer than you do.
Huh, that's great.
It connected so well, they actually stopped using their factual claim lasts 3 times longer, because the personality and humor made Final Net the leader anyway. It reinforces Bernbach's core idea. Nothing is so powerful as an insight into human nature.
Understanding people is everything. Now, beyond the campaigns, Bernbach really saw advertising as having a role, a responsibility even, in society.
He absolutely did. He famously said, "We must not just believe in what we sell, we must sell what we believe in." And he lived it, getting involved with things like the Municipal Arts Society, the Salk Institute.
He believed communicators had a duty.
Yes. And that led to some interesting debates, like the one in 1962 with Arnold Toynbee, the British historian.
What was Toynbee's argument?
Toynbee basically blasted advertising, called it moral miseducation, said it just drove needless consumption.
Strong words. How did Bernbach respond?
Powerfully. He argued that advertising itself isn't moral or immoral, it's just a tool, like eloquence or music. The morality lies with the person using the tool.
So it depends on the intent and the message.
Exactly. He pointed to DDB's own work, like ads for a sane nuclear policy with Dr. Spock, or even the VW campaign promoting sensibility, as examples of using the tool for good.
It's a crucial distinction, the medium versus the message, or the messenger. He also got involved in political advertising, didn't he? LBJ in '64.
He did. DDB created some very memorable, maybe notorious ads for Johnson against Goldwater, like the Daisy ad.
Right, the little girl and the nuclear explosion. Chilling. Did Bernbach reflect on that work later?
He did. quite candidly. In a letter to the historian Theodore H. White, he talked about how Goldwater's own televised remarks, things about, lobbing bombs into the Kremlin or sawing off the eastern seaboard,
Yikes.
how those thoughtless, superficial, angry utterances, as Bernbach called them, essentially murdered him politically. The ads just amplified what Goldwater himself was saying.
Interesting. But DDB didn't stay in politics, did they?
No. Bernbach later explained that the agency grew too large, with too many diverse views among the staff, to ethically take on political clients. It came back to his belief that you should only use your skills for people you truly believe in. That became harder as DDB got bigger.
That shows real integrity, putting principle over potential business. So tying this all together, his belief in universal human nature. How did that play out when DDB went global? Did they just run the same ads everywhere?
No, not exactly. The core belief, I think people are people. As he told VW's Dr. Nordhoff was the foundation. He believed basic human drives are universal. Survival, admiration, success, love.
The fundamentals don't change across borders.
Right. But how you express those ideas, the how-to of advertising, that needed local adaptation.
So the strategy, the why, stayed the same, but the execution changed.
Precisely. Think small for VW wouldn't work where the Beetle wasn't small, or where smallness had negative connotations. So they'd adapt to the creative execution, the how-to, while keeping the core message, the what-to and why-to, rooted in those universal human truths. It allowed the philosophy to travel effectively.
It's such a consistent philosophy running through everything. Bill Bernbach really did change the game. He took advertising from often a kind of formulaic exercise
Into an art form. An art form built on truth, on imagination, and crucially, on that deep, empathetic understanding of people.
Yeah. He showed that artistry, which maybe the business world sometimes distrusted.
It was actually the most practical, most effective tool they had. It's about connection, not just calculation.
Understanding people, not just measuring them. His legacy is just immense.
Truly.
So it leaves us with a thought, maybe. In today's world, we're just drowning in information, right? Everything is designed to grab our attention. What does it actually take now, building on what Bernbach knew, to genuinely capture someone's belief? To maybe even change their mind?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's something for all of us to think about.